TalkBox, what's up? You're listening to the TalkBox. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, you guys. Rise and shine. This is the day that the Lord has made, so we shall rejoice and be glad in it. I am so thankful to be here on the TalkBox today. We have a special edition. We are having a few technical difficulties, but we have Pastor Jame Turner is going to come on, and we're talking about what about the children. Before we jump into that, you know what we like to say here on the TalkBox: every day above ground is a good day. We got another day, another opportunity to get some things right that we didn't have quite right on yesterday. We're above the dirt, and the dirt is not above us. Then that is a good day. We can change our situations and circumstances just by thinking ourselves happy. I know that sounds crazy, but it is true and obtainable. But I just want to talk. Good morning, Rihad Hassan. Good morning. Thanks for joining the TalkBox this morning. I'm going to ask that everyone go ahead and say hello down below. Let me know you're in the place today. Let me know where you are or where you are in the world. If you are in Tennessee, Mississippi, wherever you are, give a shout out for your home place. Now, I'm going to jump in right now, and I'm saying that what about the children? I tell people all the time, our children is our future. We as old heads, we've already lived our lives. And it's almost over. So what about the children? What's going on with the children? And we got Pastor James on the line. Mr. Turner, how are you this morning?
Man, I can't complain. All is well. How about yourself?
All is well. I'm blessed beyond measure, as a matter of fact. So I'm just saying hello to everyone. I want to make sure that you're saying hello down below. Make sure you're sharing the live. And make sure you talk back to us. We are Baptist preachers. We need you to talk back. Drop your questions, comments, and concerns down into the comment section. But we're talking about what about the children?
Absolutely.
And you know, this day and time, it's rough for the kids. It's so much different than when we were growing up. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Well, I am, of course, everybody don't know, Reverend Jame Turner. 2 decades, almost 3 decades worth of youth development experience, youth ministry. Former pastor of New Hope Baptist Church, taking a little sabbatical.
All right.
I am also the project coordinator for NASA. That's Nashville After School or After Zone Alliance with the city of Nashville. And we're working on implementing a vision, Nashville vision for holistic youth. So I'll be coaching, training, pulling together curriculum, consultants to develop curriculum, develop guides for parents, youth, and those who work with youth. So we're working on that. But you're looking at someone who's a past probation officer, gang expert, worked with former gang member, 𝐊𝐿𝐿. We've done great work, author of 2 books. One particular around True Gentlemen. One is on gang, the history of gangs. I wrote with 𝐊𝐿𝐿, former gang leader. And so you look at me looking at about 25 years of youth ministry preaching, pastoring. And I call one of the, I ain't gonna say the best, but I have a wide vast when it comes to youth ministry, and about to do some more work in this season of life of working with churches, training churches, coaching youth pastors, youth directors, and bringing up the next generation of development. And that's key in the community, you know, and all that. So there's a lot on my resume, but those who know me, in the community of those who work with youth and work in the community and social justice advocates. So that's the whole gist of
it.
Yeah.
Well, what I want to say on behalf of everyone, and especially behalf of the mothers, thank you so very much for your hard work in the community with our kids. Because when we look around today with gangs and gang violence going up, gun toting, this, that, and the other, and especially around our people, the dropout rate. But I will say I read something the other day that says our dropout rate is getting better.
Right.
So that's a good thing. But what do you think the problem is, or where do we start?
Well, you got to start with just the community. I call it an ecosystem. When I was coming up, even the dope boys did not put guns in our hands, did not put us down with no gang, did not want us to sell drugs, did not want us to be a part of that lifestyle. They said do the opposite. They threatened us to go to school and do right. Not to say that everybody didn't fall through the cracks and did what we wanted to do, but for the most part, we had a community. So even those who might have been involved, we had the church involved, we had community, we had teachers that pushed us, and we had some good mentoring programs that exposed us to all of that. And so you look at the community, and it's changed now. I grew up in a Black community in 𝐄𝐎𝐑, working class, and of course down the street we had the inner city, but we all was one big family. We all loved one another.
Right.
We all rode for one another. And we was in a time where we might have had little spats here and there, north side, east side, west side. We all was one big family in Nashville. We all try to help one another. And even though we repping our side of town and our school, but it wasn't violent. It was all love. Not to say it was perfect, but it was all love. And so when I say that, I say that everybody was on board, wanted to see us push through and
be successful.
So we have to, one, bring that back, and then we had more. The churches were involved a little bit more, and so when you start, you got to follow the money, because nothing's not free. You can't ask for the people to do things for free or to work 40 hours around youth development. It's a lot of work to do after school programs, to have a program set aside. Bless you. And so you have to pay the people. We have to, to find funding and pay the people who are doing great work, and fund them and help our young people. And so,
right. Reverend Turner, I think one of the things that we kind of skated by, the difference with integrity these days. That is integrity. When the drug dealers would tell the younger people, don't follow me,
right.
Do something different. I think that that's integrity. And I think the other main problem too is, I think that we as Christians, and some of us preachers and teachers, have forgot what our role really is. We've forgotten what the role of the church really is. The church should be the foundation where you can go to. Steve Harvey has a joke out where he said Michael Jackson had got into some trouble. He went over to Mike and said, Mike, man, we got to go to church. We got to go to church.
Right.
You got to go to church. And so we've gotten away from that. And the bottom line, really and truly, we've gotten away from God and God's way of doing things. Now, even my own children, they got some different crazy kind of ways of raising your kids. We're going to let them make their own decisions. Well, it's a reason why we're the parent and they're the child.
Right.
It's a reason why you can't cuss. It's a reason why you can't leave out when you get ready. It's a reason for all of those things. And I think that it calls for us to go back to the basics. But for those who don't have good parents, me, when I came up, I had a great parenting system. My mom and my dad stayed married until she got all the kids out of the house. And we don't see that anymore either. I don't like you no more. You don't like me. I don't care what's going to happen to the kids. I'm out. And so we got to start standing for something, because right now we're falling for everything.
Right. Yeah, I believe, that the home life is yes, it's very key. We always talk about the parent, but at the end of the day, again, I go back to the community. Even though I had two parents at home, again, I had the community to support. I was involved in sports. I was involved with Boys and Girls Club. I was involved with my sports team in school. I was involved in so many other mentoring programs like Enroll that they put me in. Again, I had those activities to keep me out of trouble, to keep me focused, and to push me towards success and get exposed to a lot of things. Church was a big part of that as well. We had a big youth ministry. It's called the Midwest Youth Conference. It still exists and it's not as it was 30 years ago, but all the churches in the city, we came together. I got friends, lifelong friends from us growing up together, singing in the choir together, worshiping together, doing youth ministry together. And so, now we just got to take it up a notch, kind of bring that feel back. And we got to help our parents. So I understand the issues of single parents. I'm a single father, single parent. But we worked it out, me and my son's mother, even though he's 25 now. And we like one big family. And I'm saying that in spite of all that, we still got to handle and work with our parents, work with our kids, because we can't do it alone. And I know we got some superstar parents out there, single parents doing it. But if they truth be told, we all need one another.
Right.
We all need to support one another, and everybody got to get involved, from the church to the community, and then those in government got to say, make a statement and say we're going to fund and put money behind certain things and programs that we know that work and help, and really put that support behind so that the youth can get access to great programming. And even if it comes through the church, we got to do some things and work together as a church. And whether you're a large church or a small church can come together and say, hey, let's put together in our neighborhood a summer camp and bring our resources together, ask the city for some money. If not, let's go to the businesses and let's do something for young people. And those small things go a long way. Falling through school, men or women, on their lunch break, falling through school 2 or 3 times or just once a week, it's a big difference. Make a big difference in schools and to the lives.
Yeah, I can tell the difference. I can tell the difference. I do drop-ins myself.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a big conspiracist or a conspiracy theory person. But when I look around at our communities, when I was growing up, there was more after school programs. There was more. We could go to the YMCA. We could go to different places that the kids had to go so the streets wouldn't gobble them up. Right. And what I've noticed is that the government have dried up funding for some of those programs. And I just really think that it was demonically designed.
Right.
To engulf our children so that the streets could have our children. I believe that, I hate to say it, but I believe that the government designed it so that the prison system, what do they call it? Crib to prison pipeline or whatever it's called.
Prison pipeline.
Yeah. And so we need to make sure that we are being adamant about rescuing and saving our children.
Right.
Because that is the next generation, like you said, and it's so important. And I remember when I was younger that the people down the street could whoop me. Yeah. If they saw me doing something, they could give me a whooping. And then when I got home, I got a whooping again because you made them whoop you, you know.
Right.
And so now we've gotten into this place. Can't nobody tell my kids what to do, something. And then the people who've gotten tired of that would say, well, then keep your kids because I don't, and so that have just made such a larger divide. So what is your advice specifically? What do we need to do when we see a single mother struggling, or who do we call?
It's not about who we call. It's just about forming that community, and the more and letting the community know and the parents know the opportunities that are out there. There are so many programs that I didn't even have coming up that the young people have access to. I never would imagine to have community college free, and then I can go to my school in the state really free if I get my grades right. There are a lot of more after school programs that I had coming up. So there are opportunities out there, and sometimes depending on who the child is, they're in and out of trouble. They'll see the consequences. I mean, they know the end road. They're not dumb. They see the rappers, what happens to the rappers. They see what happens to persons who's involved in certain things illegally and where that leads to. But we have to just begin to promote we got to get shame culture out of our Black community. We shame our youth, and the youth shame youth who go to school, who try to make A's and B's. We shame that culture. We promote other things, and we need to start celebrating when young people begin to do right as a community. That don't cost nothing for me to say everybody who got straight A's, or everybody who made the honor roll from kindergarten to college, from kindergarten to high school, let me celebrate you. Let me put a platform for you. And I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, I mean, it's different, but we still got to deal with the young people that are out there. We all have to play our part. We all have to step up from the government all the way down to the church. And again, as I said, my role now is trying to help churches build strong youth ministries, build after school program, help them get funded, and help them structure out so they can be in the community and have a program that young people can go to. And then that's where you can introduce Christ. That's where you can introduce the godly things. That's where you can say, hey, come and be a part of the choir. That's where then the parents will follow. And so that's why I'm so adamant about training, about coaching, and helping especially the smaller churches find money, show them how to get grants, and then build out a strong after school program or mentorship program where they can go into school or have something after school or on a Sunday that they can really reach. And then they'll see their church grow just by saying, I want to reach out into the community. But yeah, it's crazy. Some would say the 90s were crazier, or the crack epidemic era, the whole beginning against the rap and all of that. But whatever.
Hold on. I got to push back. Back on that, because I was part of the crack epidemic. I was a user. But what I see different today is that even though I smoked crack, I still had some boundaries. Yeah. I still had some integrity. Right. And what we have lost along the way is integrity and love. Yeah. Like you said, when you were growing up, the drug dealer would tell you, don't be like me. Right. Go to school, do this, that, and the other. Nowadays, there is not any integrity at all. Right. If back in the day when I was smoking crack, if somebody had never smoked crack before, they couldn't smoke with me.
Right.
If somebody was pregnant, they couldn't smoke with me. Right. There was some boundaries there. So I'm my thought process is, how do we get back to the basics of loving ourselves and others? You talked about shaming, because it's more, they get shamed more for making good grades than they do for bad.
Right.
So what do we do about that? Where do we start?
That's on us. That's on us as the churches, as the community, to say, hey, just like me and you, I can say, hey, let me go out here and just rent out the community center and say, man, let me partner with you as one individual and say, let me go and celebrate everybody. Bring your report card. Let me celebrate you and get a restaurant to fund the food, to say, hey, we're gonna feed the parents for you all getting a whatever. That's just one idea. But again, we have to go out here and say, hey, you know what? Our men in our church need to go and visit the school. We're gonna adopt the school. Our women need to go in here and adopt the school and just walk the hallways on our lunch break and where we are. Those little small little things on a Saturday, we do it. Say let's do it once a month to have a retreat with our young people for the community. And again, if you can't do it by yourself, I'm too small. We only got this amount of members. You all can come together as pastors and church and say, hey, let's come together. Let's 5 churches come together and let's get one male out of each of the churches to go and do this and to pick a week. Those little small things go a long way, and the young people want it. The principals want us to be coming to schools, but we just got to really find the time to do it and say, I'm gonna make this change. We really just need one person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. You make time for what you want to make time for. Right. I tell my kids that you make time for what you want to make time for. You pay things and buy things that you want to buy. So we have to shift our mindset. I think that goes back to the renewing of your mind. We got to renew our minds and get our minds back right. I was talking to some younger parents, and this thing about letting your kids decide what they eat, my child don't eat that. How you know? Well, he don't like it, so he don't eat it. Well, so you cooking 3 or 4 meals for these kids, and you wondering why your finances is messed up. Right. I think that we need more parenting classes. That's what I think. I think that parenting classes would help us as well, because it starts in the home. But if by chance there is no one that is parenting correctly or parenting, I don't want to say incorrectly, but then we could go into as a community and partner up and help the kids who are struggling. Right. We got a lot of good kids.
Oh yeah,
that because we're not taking. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We have a lot of good kids that want to do right.
Yeah.
But they don't have a support system. And it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart, because then you wonder when they get 16, 17, 18 and they're doing things, and you wonder how they got that way. I think that we need to start with these little bitty kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Instilling greatness in them. Stop telling our kids you're gonna be just like your daddy. You're gonna be a drunk like your mama. You ain't gonna do nothing but lay on your back. Right. We need to start when they're young.
Right.
Because it's easier to instill good things in people than it is to pull the bad stuff out.
Right. I think a quote, I hear it all the time, that it's much easier to build boys than to fix broken men. And so that's basically saying, and I know I might misquoted that, but basically what you just saying, starting young, it's easier to do that than it is to try to wait till they get in high school. Don't get me wrong, there's still hope for those that are 15 that might not have had guidance from 0 to 15. I've seen it done. I've done it. But it's much easier to say, let's start in elementary. And again, program in Nashville, my brother's keeper, just black men going in reading books to elementary school. Again, that's just an idea, not just with that organization. I'm saying that's something that a church or a group of men, a bike club, a fraternity that we can do. You know what I'm saying? We do things not from my fraternity, but just imagine if the churches, all the organizations, all the friends, all the Masonic organizations come together and say, we're going to pick a school, we're going to read, we're going to do this. Just your presence alone is enough to change the kids. Just by sitting there at lunch, sitting with them, talking to them, man, what's going on, man, you good, man, you're going to make it. Man, I want to see you, supporting you. We went as a frat. That is throwing examples of the power of this presence. We went to a middle school basketball team game. We were the only black men there. The few fathers that were there to see their kids. Majority of the mothers that were there to see their son play. We went in there, and you should have seen just the
well, I tell you, I think people don't understand how important that structure and the order of Christ is.
Absolutely.
The man is the head. And so, especially with the black man coming in, it makes a tremendous difference. And I think that we need more of that. And just setting the presence.
Right.
I tell you what I've done at my church, and people, even my pastor sometimes says, "Well, Sonja, I need you to do this. I need you to do that." You have so many men there. It's time for the men to stand up, whether they black, white, green, or yellow. And what's happening is the devil is putting in imposters. And so where you saying go in and read with the kids, then we get mad when we see the transvestites and transgenders and this, that, and the other, and the craziness going on. But where are you? Right. God is saying to us, just like he did when Adam and Eve was in the garden, Adam, where are you?
Right.
God is asking Adam today, where are you? Where are you with the children? What are you doing for your community? What are you doing for your church?
Right.
And I get excited, and I get really excited when I go into a church and there's more men than women.
Absolutely.
Because that's a rare thing to happen. And every now and again, I'll step somewhere and I'll see all these men and they're working. Yeah. Me as a woman, I get excited about that. Not just you men though, but we women need to stand up. The Bible says for the older women to teach the younger women.
Yeah.
And they say, I think somebody made a comment, they don't listen, it's different and whatever. But when we get on Judgment Day, God ain't gonna say why you didn't do it because they wasn't gonna listen. He gonna say why you didn't do it. Right. Whatever I assigned you to, that's what you need to do. The old folk used to say, preach when they want to hear it, preach when they don't want to hear it. Yep. Now there's a way to do that in love, but we can't just sit idly by. You know that prayer was taken out of school primarily by one woman. One woman started a ruckus, and then prayer was taken out of the school because the church did not stand up. And so I believe that this is the season that we as Christians, we as believers, and the church body as a whole need to stand up and take our proper place in the world if we want to see a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my whole thing is, again, going back to community, you look at the ministry of Jesus. He really spent his time in the poorest and the sickest, in those areas that were hungry. He actually he spearheaded women's rights, even in the Bible, New Testament. So those things that Jesus did, we got to go back to that. What I mean by that is we got to build relationships. And I know to preach in season, out of season. I know when God calls prophets to go and preach, you got to do it in season, out of season. I'm talking about the community to come together, build relationships first with the young people. Then they'll be willing to see you once you're consistent. Then you'll be able to spit game to them, give them some knowledge, share your testimony. But it's coming out the gate, man, you doing this and don't do this.
Right.
You got to build a relationship first.
I agree.
That's what I always do.
I totally agree.
Listen, feed them every now and then they'll be able to listen to the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. All right, I see you breaking up on me. I believe that music means we out of here. Listen, we will share that information. My book, True Gentlemen, will be turned into a facilitator's guide for churches and people who work with youth, for young men. If you need to reach me when it comes to speaking to your young youth, speaking to your young men, facilitating a workshop on how to mentor, facilitating the retreat of how to be a true gentleman to your young men and teach how to be all of that, then you can reach me at 615-626-8062. 615-626-8062, or at James C. Turner II at Gmail. James C. Turner II at Gmail. I'd be happy to come, talk to your young people, help train the youth ministry and all of that. And look forward to seeing you all and helping each and every one of you all, and help you all find that money to help fund your program too. So holla at me. And I'm in that season of help.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Reverend Turner. It's been wonderful talking with you. You know, I love talking to you anyway.
Absolutely.
Godspeed to all of your activities that you got going on, all of your events that's coming up, and your new book and that sort of thing. So we appreciate you. So we thank you so very much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Anytime. And just in case you don't know who I am, I'm your girl, Sonja G, here on the Talkbox. Remember that you have the authority and permission to live an abundant life. God bless you, and you have a great day.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, listening to the Talkbox side. Yeah, listening to the Talkbox. Let's talk about it.